Lisa, thanks for joining us
Yeah.
today. So you were recently named one of the 100 most creative people in the country by Country Living magazine.
Yeah, I was.
Now, how does that feel? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it feels kind of weird,
Yeah.
honestly, because there's just, in my opinion, so many more people that are way more creative than I am that are so deserving of something like that. But then at the same time, it's just fun. Country Living magazine is a cool magazine. It is nationwide,
Sure.
so it's fun.
Can you tell us a little about Garner Blue? Like maybe
Yeah.
how that came into being and what it sort of is and where you think it fits into the maker movement.
Yeah. So I started Garner Blue, it's been about 4 years ago, and really I just kind of started dyeing a woven cotton scarf, which I'm looking behind me here. We've got a couple of those here, but just with a basic piece. I learned about it to teach a group of women about how to dye with indigo.
Okay.
And through that, just kind of loved the process. So I started doing the scarves and then kind of started thinking what other things could I make and add. And so now it is a whole line of pieces, accessories to wear, scarves, kimonos, cocoons, neckerchiefs, like what I've got on, and all different things, and then home decor. So pillows, tea towels, vintage napkins, and so yeah, I think basically when I started doing it, I realized that I wanted to go out and sell those things in other places. So it fits into the maker movement just pretty organically, I guess,
Yeah.
and that, I'm the one making it, but then also I kind of insert myself in that movement in other places through markets, curated craft markets and
Sure.
things like that.
So Garner Blue has, aside from expanding its market, you've made some changes in the last few months to
Yeah.
your Jackson footprint. And
So we're actually in the Garner Blue shop right now. Basically, whenever I started Garner Blue and started thinking about where and how can I sell that in Jackson, I actually started something called Jackson Pop-Up Shops, and those were seasonal shops that I would put together with myself and a couple of other artists. I would get things in from people who were hand making things, and just again, seasonally, so weekend shops that would happen around the holidays like Mother's Day and like Christmas and stuff like that. And those went really well, so when the local kind of came up, it was like, well, that might be a great idea to have kind of a longer term pop-up shop with Garner Blue as kind of being like the brand that it all kind of stemmed from. So that is Garner Blue Shop. It opened in November, and it's been a ton of fun. It's been great. Just getting to kind of stock the shop with things that I love. Several local artists have work represented, but then also people who I've met at all these markets. I get to kind of call them up and say like, hey, I want to bring some of your stuff in. Some of those things were items that sold really well at past pop-up shops, and then some of them are totally new. So it's been great.
so that's neat. You're hitting on something. This maker movement idea. I mean, you're bringing things to Jackson that would not have
Yeah.
been here any other way.
Yeah.
And so someone, a small, I mean, you do this in your garage probably or something
Totally.
like that. And so someone else who's in, I'm just Tulsa, Oklahoma or something, who's
Yeah.
doing something, they now have an opportunity to have a presence in Jackson. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So you're a creative, now officially you've been ordained one of the 100 most creative people, and you do a good bit of traveling, but you come back home to Jackson and you're rooted in Jackson, you stay in Jackson. What's it like being a creative in Jackson, and how does that maybe stack up to your impression of the maker movement elsewhere?
Yeah, I think I've been surprised by how much support we have here. There's friends that I talk to in other cities, and they will try to do even something like the pop-up shops that we did. And they go okay once or twice, and then they just kind of fizzle. They don't necessarily have the support of their community. And that's been one thing that's been really neat to see. The pop-up shop started 4 years ago. I've done 2 or 3 a year since then, and then started this. So one way that a community supports someone that's creative and an artist is literally by purchasing things from them. And I've seen people in Jackson do that and be so excited about it. So having that support is so great. One of the things you hear over and over again is, for anyone, the community in Jackson is so important and so great for them. But I think for a creative, for anyone who's gonna go out there and put themselves on the line to say like, do you like what I made? Having people behind them saying, yes, we do, it's good, keep going, push yourself, it's great. That's been great. So I think having the support of my community here in Jackson, yes, it makes it easy to be a creative here. There are still challenges though, for sure. I would love to see more gallery and, showing space for artists. Some of those things, more musical outlets. I think there's so much room for growth. I think that we have people that want to participate in those things. It's just a matter of getting them going. So it's good, but it could be better, if I'm being honest.
Sure, no, and I think we're, at downtown development, I think we're aware of that and recognize that as a challenge we need to rise to. And I think, if we're going to be realistic, as community leaders, we have to be.
Yeah,
we have
and
to
I think we see
that
we're a part of it.
Sure,
those
sure.
artists and those creatives, they're a part of doing that and making that happen. And I think that's something that is very possible here in Jackson, is that it's not just a matter of looking at like government or something else to make those things. It's saying, well, what do you want to do, and let's do it.
Yeah.
How can we do it here? Start small and then get bigger, and we'll see what happens.
I think you nailed it with talking about the different creative outlets. I mean, there's so much talent in Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
And the you hit on it earlier, the maker movement. It's easy to get lost in like, crafts and things that are a little bit more kind of hip at the moment. But our classic arts, music, painting. Jackson is just oozing with talent in these areas.
Right,
and
right.
I think downtown it's always been the seat of the arts, but I think it's home to the arts in Jackson and West Tennessee. And I think an emphasis on music and an emphasis on visual art. I always am fond of saying that downtown needs to be an audio-visual experience. You walk into Community Cafe or you walk into Woodstock and you hear these songs from the 60s that we all love, and you see the vibrant color on the walls and the people, and the walk between these two places should carry on the experience. I'd love to have a street drummer over here and then somebody on this corner playing music, and then there's a mural to look at as you walk by. I think those people have created the vibe, and they are the downtown vibe. They're what's alive about it, and people like you all are what's making an organic life happen in downtown. And I think our job is to cultivate an experience walking between those places, where the actual ether between these places, the connective tissue, is as vibrant and alive in an audiovisual way. And so you all are driving the car. We're just sort of like taking notes and figuring out how to back you up and everything. But I'm inspired by your comments, as I always am, and am thankful for your insight. And well, Lisa Garner, thank you again for your time. Congratulations, one of the 100 most creative people in the country, according to Country Living Magazine. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's great, and love all the stuff you're doing. Excited to work with you, and thank you.
All right, thank you.